Hello everybody, I'm Suzanne Niedermeyer and this is Suzanne's Not a Podcast. If you want to know why in the world I named it Not a Podcast, please go back to the very first one and you will understand why I call it that. So before we get started, I want to let you know I am not a medical doctor. I do love making medicines, as they say, medicinal tinctures and teas and other really fun things. There are a lot of ways that you can learn, and I highly recommend do a search and just start learning. It's not that hard. Introducing my two dogs, that one running away is Gideon. He's going to be in the shot. And Jack is over here. You're going to hear him talking a lot. I kind of like the saying every now and then, if you can't beat them, join them. And that would be my dogs. So I want to let you see what I'm doing today in my kitchen. Right now it is the first third of October. So that means that it's not yet mid-October, but it's almost mid-October. It's getting a little chilly outside, and I am having to grab everything I can from the garden before the first frost hits. You can see, because I'm going to be talking about this in a few minutes, this is one of my watermelons. They're about 32 pounds. I got two of them. And they were the only ones that were ready to pick. So I'm going to be cutting those, freezing some, and putting a lot of them in the freeze dryer. I'm just going to talk briefly about freeze drying. It is absolutely worth investing in a freeze dryer. You can keep what you freeze dry for up to 25 years. So when you can things, that's great, but that'll last 1 to 2 years, or maybe more, depending on who you listen to. But you really can't beat 25 years. So what I love about freeze drying things like homegrown watermelon and cantaloupe, besides the fact that you know what's in it, there's no pesticides, there's no scary anything because you grew it yourself. It's like candy, but there's no sugar in it. It's just natural. So it's a super great sweet snack to enjoy. Gives you a lot of energy, but it's natural sugar. You will hear me talk about this in other podcasts, and I have some more coming up that you're going to hear the same words come out of my mouth. Eat food that remembers where it came from. So if your food remembers where it came from, your body can process it, right? Your body knows what to do with it. It's not going to store it as fat, wondering what in the world it is. It is just a whole food. So anyway, that being said, invest in a freeze dryer. It is way worth it if you guys go hiking, if you go horseback riding, picnicking, hunting, whatever it is that backpacking, or I already said that, whitewater rafting. It took me a while to say that because I couldn't remember the name, because I would never do that. I would never want to go whitewater rafting. So, but you could take it because it is sealed. It's waterproof and it's lightweight. So when you get where you're going, you just boil some water, put it in that lovely little bag, seal it up, mush it around, wait a couple minutes, and boom, you have a meal. So you can literally make lasagna, spaghetti, scrambled eggs, whatever, and you freeze dry it, and then you put it in, serving size portions, stick it in a freeze dryer, Ziploc it up, seal it with the freeze dry sealer, and label it with the year, and put it away for 25 years. How amazing is that? So anyway, that's my little freeze dryer spiel. You guys have seen me make tinctures. Today is the last of the summer tincture making escapades. So today I did some kind of different ones, which were really fun for me. I did some research to see if I see something in my yard, especially a weed, I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to learn what it is, make sure that's what it is, and then I'm going to look to see if there's any medicinal value in it. And if so, I'm going to see how it's used. If it says to make a tincture, I make a tincture, and it takes a couple months to do that. I'm not going to go through how to do that because I've already done that before. So you can go back to look at, some of the other things. But I want to share with you some of the tinctures that I made. So I have made prickly lettuce for the first time. So of course I see this big weed, wonder what in the world I could do with it besides just pull it and throw it away. I try really hard not to use pesticides. I do not use pesticides, but I do it old school, pull it up by the roots, gone. So prickly lettuce, I learned, actually does some really amazing things, and I'm going to tell you some of those. Pain relief, they call it nature's Vicodin. So it's pain relief used for general pain, including muscle pain, joint pain, and menstrual pain. Some historical accounts refer to it as opium lettuce because of its pain relieving effects, though it is not a true opiate, okay? It works for anxiety and insomnia. It has some sedative properties, calms the nervous system, eases anxiety, aids in sleep. Respiratory issues, historically used for coughs and asthma. Musculoskeletal relaxation relieves tension, particularly in the muscles. Do you guys ever get muscle tension? Oh my goodness, yes. And it's a diuretic. So some traditional texts note that it is used for diuretic for conditions like edema. So there are some safety risks on here. So if you're going to make your own, you need to research it. Don't just listen to AI. I want you to do the deep dive and research for yourself, okay? So this prickly lettuce tincture, just like most tinctures, and again, you want to check for dosing. You dose it and then you do the recommended amount. I like to do it under my tongue, hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds, and then swallow it. Some are best put in water because of the horrible taste. Feverfew tastes absolutely terrible. So you could put that in water if you want. But anyway, so that's one of the things I did today. So briefly, I'll tell you, I take a mason jar, I go grab my feverfew or yarrow or prickly lettuce or whatever it is, and I check to see, do I need to dehydrate it first or do I just use it fresh? You pack it in your mason jar, and then you take some very heavy proof vodka, pour it in, and you want to cover it. You want to leave a little bit of headspace because you want to be able to shake it, but you want to make sure you cover everything. You go in and try to get the bubbles out, and then you just shake it. Of course, that's after it's closed. And then you put it in a cool, dark pantry for about 6 to 8 weeks. I know some things say 4 to 6 weeks. I typically err on the side of 6 to 8 weeks. I know I'm covered no matter what it is. So after that, you put a little strainer over a measuring cup. This is what I do. Again, you can see me doing this on a previous one. Not a podcast. You mush it down so you get all that goodness out of it. And then you put it in a tincture jar that you can just buy on Amazon. I like the ones that come with a label maker and a baby little funnel because that just makes my job super simple. Okay, so that is really fun, prickly lettuce. Another thing I did today was yarrow tincture, and I've done that before. So yarrow tincture, stops bleeding. It's known for its ability to stop bleeding in minor cuts and scrapes due to its astringent and styptic properties. Diluted, because it's pretty heavy duty. It's like very seriously alcohol based. If it's diluted, you could put it directly on the wounds. It's antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory. It can reduce the risk of infection, and it soothes the skin. Can be used for skin inflammations like eczema, psoriasis, and bug bites. Also, bug bites, by the way, it's if you could get some plantain and keep it with you that's been dehydrated in a baggie or something. You just put it in your mouth and chew it. Put it right over your bug bite, and the sting is gone instantly. And yarrow supports circulation. It strengthens the blood vessel walls and can address varicose veins and poor circulation. It also regulates the menstrual cycle, aids digestion, addresses cold and fevers because it acts as a diaphoretic, and promotes sweating to help break the fever. It's antimicrobial and mucus clearing, so it helps with cold and flu symptoms. It also reduces anxiety. So, you know, God made some pretty amazing medicine for us before let's just say Western medicine. Our grandparents, our great grandparents would just go out to the pasture or the garden or the backyard or the front yard and grab whatever they needed for whatever hurt people, whatever was bothering you. All the way from toothaches to, I mean, you name it. They had an answer to just about everything. So I love that way of thinking, and I try to do that as much as I possibly can. And then the last thing that I thought was really amazing, and I have a couple of people that are going to be trying this to let me know if it actually works, is white clover. So we had a bunch of white clover in the pasture. I researched it to see what medicinal values it had. And oh my goodness, the first thing I saw was it helps cure gout. There isn't a cure for gout. Gout hurts, and I know a couple people who suffer from it. So I am really excited to give this to a couple of people and have them tell me if it actually helped them. But I love the idea of white clover. You can use it internally and externally for gout. It works at helping the lymphatic system move. There are kidney disorders that are helped with this because water retention tends to lead to kidney stones. It's been made into a tea to use as an eye wash for eye issues. And it clears all the waterways in the body. It helps when you use it in dehydrated tea form. It can be helped for fevers, common colds, and coughs. And teas also help rheumatism. That's amazing. This says it even can help prevent development of cancer and antioxidant actions. So I'm not saying this cures cancer. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you what I'm reading, what I learned. This is what I learned. Okay. And so anyway, I would highly recommend you guys do your own research. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. My job is education. I'm not selling anything. I'm just educating you. My goal is to help you make some steps into figuring out your own health and how to get yourself healthy. So that is white clover. Super, super excited to have a couple people that I know try it. And I will definitely report back to you. Prickly lettuce, I'm excited to see if it actually helps pain. So feverfew, the feverfew that I made back in January, this will last a couple of years if you store it correctly. I don't get headaches. I hardly ever get headaches. If the barometric pressure is just right, I just feel like somebody's sitting on my head, and I do get, I know, I do get that headache that I can't really describe, but it's really uncomfortable. And I was, back in the olden days when I used to take, normal pain relievers and didn't know any better, that would help, but I knew it wasn't good for me because of all the side effects. So I just happened to have some of this in the car, and I put a couple droppers full under my tongue. Guys, within 2 minutes, my headache was completely gone. And you know what? It didn't come back. So Feverfew also really helps migraines, but that is when you use it on a regular basis to prevent migraines. I'm not sure if it would help stop a migraine in its tracks. I'm really not sure. I don't know. So that's tinctures. But what I wanted to come on today also and tell you about is I'm doing something different with some of my flowers outside, with my medicinal flowers that I'm kind of trying to harvest before they're no longer available for the season. And we've talked about Feverfew already, but I am actually doing something additional with my Feverfew flowers, and with my lavender flowers, and with my, what else did I put in there? Calendula. The calendula is a beautiful flowering plant. It's so pretty. So I have already taken my lavender flowers and my calendula flowers, and they're already in the dehydrator. Now, a dehydrator is not a freeze dryer. This is what a dehydrator tray looks like. And I have one that has six, and then one that has 7 or 8. And then I have one that has like 5 or 6 drawers. So I am going to be doing this one full of Feverfew flowers, because as I was saying, I'm doing something different with them. I'm actually going to be using these for tea. So tincture is a little bit different, because tincture is kind of an immediate medicine. You put it under your tongue, you hold it there, you swallow it, you're good to go. You may use this, 2 or 3 times a day, depending on the severity of your symptoms. But Feverfew tea with some honey is really soothing when you're sick. So Feverfew is definitely used for headaches, but also for fevers and flu symptoms. And I've given tinctures to a few people who have been sick with fevers, and they tell me they get better really quickly when they use that. Again, I'm not making any claims. I'm not prescribing any medicine to you. I'm not a medical doctor for the 100th time, but I'm telling you what you can learn and you can do for yourself. So it's going to take all of my trays to do all these Feverfew flowers, and I'm super excited. I will be finished with these probably within 6 or 7 hours. They will be dehydrated, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be storing them in mason jars, labeling them with a date, and I have a food saver that has an attachment that you hook up to your mason jar with a flat lid on it, sucks all the air and actually seals. So I will be able to keep this for a very long time, and then every time I need to go in and grab some for tea, I'll put that lid back on it, suck the all the air out again, and this will keep for a good amount of time. So this will not last 25 years. It doesn't get reconstituted with water like a freeze dryer, like a meal for a freeze dryer, but it's really great for tea and when you're storing things for maybe 1 or 2 years. That watermelon, like I said, is going to be freeze dried, but I'm not going to reconstitute it with water. We're going to use it as snacks. And then one more thing I'll tell you about freeze drying. I know I'm skipping all over the place. I have a lot of zucchini right now, lots of it, and some onions that I grew, and some yellow squash also. So I'm going to be cutting it up and cutting it in bite-sized pieces, all of it. And I'm going to do a couple things with it. I'm going to cook some of it and freeze dry it so that when we're out in the mountains, wherever we are, we can rehydrate it, and it is a really great vegetable that's going to taste just like it did when I cooked it. And I'm also going to prep some to make the same, you know, sauteed zucchini, yellow squash, and onion and garlic stir fry, but I'm just going to prep it, and then I'm going to food savor it and freeze it. That should last maybe 1.5 years. So I can also, like I did, make a bunch of zoodles and freeze them as well. So I hope this was enjoyable for you. You can subscribe to my channel so you won't miss anything. I recommend going back, watching all the things. I do talk about several things: gardening hacks, making tinctures, your money when you don't even realize you have money somewhere and your state treasury department is holding it, wanting you to have it back. Watch that one. I interviewed my son for that one. It was really awesome. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks so much for watching.